Here's a GRE vocab question. Let's take a look. The question of blank in photography has lately become non-trivial. Prices for vintage prints, those made by a photographer soon after he or she made the negative, so drastically blanked in the 1990s that one of these photographs might fetch 100 times as much as a non-vintage print of the same image. It was perhaps only a matter of time before someone took advantage of the blank to peddle newly created vintage prints for profit. Whew. 3 blank questions. Now, let me start by saying 3 blank questions you should probably save for the end. They're worth as much as 1 blank questions, and they take you longer, and you have to get all 3 words right. So always put 3 blank questions at the end. But let's do this one. So the question of something in photography has become non-trivial. GRE loves to do this, the contradictory words. Not trivial means big, right? So not trivial means not small. So something like big or important. And then clearly we're going to describe what the issue is. Prices for vintage prints, I'm going to skip this part right here, so drastically blanked in the 1990s. So if something's drastically, and we're talking about prices, it's either going to be, it shot up or it crashed. That one of these photographs might fetch 100 times as much as a non-vintage print of the same image. It was perhaps only a matter of time before someone took advantage of the blank to peddle newly created, here's the kicker, vintage, quote unquote, prints for profit. So there's quite a bit of nuance here. And when we find the answers, it will make sense, I promise. But when you put something in quotation marks, you're basically saying it's not that, right? It's like, oh yeah, he's my friend. That's a way of contradicting what this is saying. What are we talking about in the context of photography? We're talking about forgery, right? So fake prints. Now, maybe you don't buy this yet, and we don't have to necessarily commit to this one right now, but let's call it my strong lean right now is that we're talking about forgery. If we're talking about vintage and non-vintage prints and vintage prints. So I'm not definitely picking this one. We'll save it, but we want to start somewhere and see if it works. Okay, so let's go with this. The question of forgery in photography has become important. Prices for vintage prints, so old prints, drastically blanked in the 1990s. Again, either went up or went down. Well, if we're talking about forgery, if we're talking about people making newly created vintage prints, why would they be doing that? Well, they'd be doing it for profit. So we're talking about a price increase here. Not weakened, not varied, but ballooned, right? So we have these fake pictures, and the prices for the real thing have gone up so much that people have been creating fake new pictures, vintage pictures, right? So then we have this last sentence. It was perhaps only a matter of time before someone took advantage of the blank. So what? The what? Well, it's going to be the difference between the real old ones and the new ones, right? Old pictures are worth so much that people want to take advantage of this, call it this delta, this arbitrage opportunity, and create their own old pictures. A lot of people go with duplicity, but that means like trickery. These people are not taking advantage of trickery, they're committing trickery. What they're taking advantage of is a discrepancy between the price of an old picture and the price of a new picture. So these vintage prints are worth so much that people are forging them. Correct answers here: forgery, ballooned, and discrepancy. For more GRE tips and tricks, or to sign up for my online course, follow the link on my profile.